there's a cure for this, I don't want it, I don't want it. If there's a remedy, I'll run from it. Think about it all the time. Never let it out of my mind, 'cause I love you.
Girls, we have a super cutie, short, stylish, highlighted body wave 10-inch wig. This is our cutie little unit, guys. It is so sophisticated. I freaking love it. The lace is pre-cut. Now, I did kind of shape the parting on it just a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, girl, I was so excited when I got this unit. I couldn't wait, I'm gonna be honest. And so I got really excited and I kind of, you know, did the parting a little bit different. And then I added just a little bit of powder. I did all of this off camera. Guys, this complete styling of this unit is probably gonna take no more than 10 minutes. So this is the unit when you put it on, and as you guys can see, it's really already styled. Now, I did loosen up the curl pattern a little bit. What I did, I took my blow dryer and I just combed through the wig just to kind of loosen up the curl a little bit, because I wanted the wig to emulate the picture on the website as much as possible. This is how the wig is going to look, and this is if you decide to do what I did, which is kind of, you know, loosen up your curls and blow dry it out a little bit. I've been wanting like a cute, sassy little look. And as far as trimming of the lace, you won't have to do much again because it is pre-cut, but I'm gonna trim this tiny little piece off right here. And that's because I decided to kind of wear my hair with more of a deep part. So the next thing I'm gonna do is this part right here. We're just gonna flatten this out. So guys, I'll probably be using this is like a 1 3/4 barrel. I'll be using this, and I might also use my flat iron, we'll see. I'm actually going to kind of curve this away. And just for right now, I'm gonna tuck this behind my ear. All right, girls, so I'm gonna take a super fine brush. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then I'm gonna take some concealer that's just a little bit lighter than my complexion. And we're gonna put that in the parting area so the part can be really, really defined. And what I like to do is just put the concealer on in dots. Another thing that I like to do is just go in with a little bit of hairspray just to kind of lock everything in. And I'm specifically concentrating right here again because I want this part to be a little bit flatter. I don't want it to have as much volume. Now guys, as far as the lace is concerned, you really cannot see it. However, I want it to get I want it to be as seamless as possible. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my hairspray and spray it. Guys, just like that. This is how it's gonna look literally without doing too much work. Guys, keep in mind, this is literally the look with just a little bit of blow drying to soften up and loosen up that wave. And that is it. So what I'm gonna do, because I absolutely love how the model has her hair, I'm going to try to duplicate that style as much as I possibly can. But right now, let's just curl everything going away from our face. That's another thing. I love the fact that this unit was pre-cut, girl, because it's one thing if you're good at cutting hair. I'm not good at cutting hair, and so the last thing that I want is a super choppy bob. Oh, y'all look. Oh my gosh, girls, look at me. On the back, it looks like she just kind of has the back of it flipped a little bit. So I am going to take bigger pieces on the back and just kind of flip everything going up. Baby, hello? All right, girls, this is the final look. feel so glamorous and so gorgeous, and I want you to feel the same way. So what I'm gonna do is make sure that I leave all of the details in the description box below. Once again, I would like to thank I Define Hair for sponsoring today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and on to the vlog. Hey girl, so listen, why did I just have, well not just, but I had an interview earlier today, and y'all, this interview process is a mess because the job requisition will say one thing, but when you get on the interview, it's a whole nother story, right? So girl, we gets down to the interview or whatever. Y'all, this is so funny. We gets down to the interview. Now, mind you, I didn't practice for 24 hours. And, you know, so the guy, he starts asking questions and stuff like that. And of course, you know, when you go through the, you know, the protocol, formalities, as they like to say. And so you answer all the questions and you do all the things. And then his manager joins the call. Y'all, his manager came on that call again. I can't even, like, he just had this look on his face or whatever. So I knew, I you know what, I was like, you know what, it's about to be it's about to be a scheme that Todd set up to come down to us with the bullshit. So anyway, I just knew it. So anyway, y'all, why this man gonna retch all the way back on my resume, girls, to the first job I had on my resume? Y'all know with me, I don't be trying to keep jobs, like I only try to keep a 7-year history or whatever. He done retched all the way back on my resume talking about some, well, can you tell me how this job that you did right here is gonna tie in to you having electrical skills? Because they wanted someone with really in-depth electrical skills. And I get it, but I'm gonna need y'all to do the requisition the right way. So come, you know, when you can find somebody, you can find what you're looking for. So anyway, girl, I did the best of my ability and I let him know, you know, like that was a sales training position or whatever. I conducted sales. And so, you know, he asked another question or whatever. And then after that, girl, that fool was like, got a blast. So he hurried up and jumped off the call. And I already knew what that meant or whatever. And so he had asked, you know, he kept asking questions about electrical skills. And so once he got off the call, I already knew, baby, it was at that moment I knew he fucked up. So I was like, the other guy was still on the call with me. So I was just kind of like, baby, let's get to it, because you're not about to take me through there. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to take me through there and knowing that I'm not the right fit for the job. Wait a minute, hold on right quick.
A few moments later.
Okay, girl, I'm back. I had to go get me something to eat. But anyway, so y'all. So after the polyester pimp hung up, you know, got off the phone or whatever, it was just me and the other manager. Now, the other manager, he was a very, very nice guy or whatever. So at that point, I knew, like, they wanted someone with very specified electrical skills, which I don't have electrical skills. So I then asked the guy, because at that point it was my turn to ask questions. I just asked him, I said, you know, it seems like, you know, it appears as though, you know, this guy is, we're gonna call him the polyester pimp, was very concerned about my, you know, electrical skills. And while I have a lot of technical skills, they are just that. How concerned are you? And so he was just pretty honest, and he was like, we need someone who speaks the language, who speaks the company jargon, that understands the electrical aspect of the project, not just, you know, the project. They need to be able to explain why something is not working, like what's causing the issue beyond the fact that it's not working. I said, okay, I understand. So girl, I don't know what happened. At some point, I think me and the guy, we realized, like, I think he picked up on the fact that I realized, like, oh, this ain't no good fit. Baby, when I tell you, me and that man just looked at each other and laughed for about a minute. Girl, we was laughing so hard after I asked that question, because he knew where he knew where it was going. I wanted to say, I think you know where this is going. And so after that, I just, you know, after we started laughing and stuff or whatever, and then he was just like, well, do you have any more questions? I'm like, well, while we're here. So at this point, it's just, you know, we just going through the motions. And so I just basically, you know, let him know that I understand that I can see why they would need someone with more in-depth technical skills. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to take a wild stab into the dark here. And I was like, so if I were to find another position that is more fitting for my skills and qualifications, would you mind if I pass it by you, if I stay in connection with you? He was like, no, I wouldn't mind at all or whatever. But y'all, this was like the funniest, it was just like the funniest interview I ever had, because sometimes, girls, the moral of the story is, it is okay if you are interviewing for a job and you realize that you're not going to be a good fit. I know this economy is brutal. I told y'all a few months ago, baby, it's done had my head between a washer and a dryer. But it is actually okay if you see that a position is not a good fit, because what you don't want is to take a job and then after 3 months or so, you're not able to perform to the level that they need, and then they let you go. You know what I'm saying? And so we don't want to be in a situation like that. So yeah, so don't ever feel as though you can't stop an interview, or you know, you can do it in a courteous way. Or if you have a personality like my personality, that you kind of know how to make things like comical, that helps. If you know how to do it, you know, it is an art and a science to it, but if you know how to do it, that's okay. And so, but if you have to do what I deem to be stop work authority, even though you're not working for them, but if you got to stop an interview, and so baby, you got to tell them, baby, let's just kiss and say goodbye. That's okay, because that means that your confidence is up, and it's only going to bring more and more of the right opportunities. And then also, I was very happy that they contacted me for this role. It paid very well. And again, we are, you know, in the ballpark of where I want to be as far as salary. So we just have to find the right fit, girls. But yeah, y'all, this was funny. And by the way, let me just put this out here. I did have on my good, fluffy, conservative, corporate Karen wig down to the interview. But you know, once I got off the call or whatever, I was feeling like I wanted to look like I worked at Bonita Gardens. Y'all know what the Bonita Garden apartments are down to Dallas that all of the girls is talking about. They got, I think, what's the lady down there at Bonita Gardens? But anyway, I wanted to put on my Bonita Garden wig, you know. And so yeah, but I just basically I had went and got some lasagna, and it was pretty good, lasagna bolognese. I got that, and it was pretty tasty or whatever. But yes, girls, I think that what I'm gonna do, I just feel like today has been a very funny day. I have laughed so much because that was the most comical interview I ever had, because I ain't never had nobody just jump off the call, girl. Y'all, it was just too funny. And then he had them glasses. Girl, I can't. Anyway, them eyes was just glaring through them glasses. Y'all remember them glasses the Isley brothers used to wear back in the 70s? But it was like, you could still see their eyes, but the tint was there. He was sitting on a call like this, y'all. Baby, when I tell you, y'all, them arms was so, and I'm talking about the polyester pimp. Baby, when I tell you them arms was so tight. Y'all ever seen somebody, they arms be so tight and close, tight to their body, and it was like he was scared to lift them arms up. Baby, if he would have lifted them arms up, it probably was some weapons of mass destruction that would have took every... Baby, if he would have lifted, them arms are so tight, if he would have lifted them arms up, them arms would have took out every nose in the nation, baby. He would have killed a nation, a multitude of peoples, had he lifted them arms up. But anyway, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. So anyway, girls, I guess we are going to, I'm finna take off my Bonita Gardens wig and my makeup and stuff. And I ain't gonna even much lie to you, baby. After today, I'm gonna rub my feet together and we gonna be down to TikTok. So I'm finna give me some TikTok therapy and laugh at, girl, somebody else and enter the chat of the Nicki saga, the Nicki Minaj saga. So girl, I'm about to clock the T on Nicki Minaj. I'm about to clock the tea, because baby, they down to they chewing your girl up. So I'm finna catch some of that, and then after that, girls, I'm just gonna unwind, and then I'm gonna go to sleep for tonight. But I'll give you guys a call back in the morning. Hey girls, all right y'all. So it has been a very relaxing weekend. I'm just letting y'all know right now, I didn't do too much of anything, so you guys didn't see me. But today I just need to do some tidying up around the house. Y'all know, just pretty much the rigmarole of the monotonous day. But anyway, I have a little bit of a rant. I am at the point where I'm tired of these companies playing with me, girl. I just feel like these companies, and when I say these companies, I'm speaking of like sometimes when you get sponsorships, it is a nice thing to get sponsorships and for companies to want to work with you. But I think sometimes when you are still up and coming, they don't respect your time and they don't respect your craft, and they don't really want to place a lot of value on what you have to offer. And in addition to all of that, they don't always commit or keep their word. So I'm dealing with two companies, and we signed contracts and everything. Guys, I have yet to be paid. These companies, it's like they will promise you something, or they'll put it in a contractual agreement, but they won't commit to it. And so what happens is, of course, I have bills. I can't just pay my bills with my personality. Then you get put into a bind, and you get put into a situation where, you have important financial obligations that you have to meet. But if the company is not meeting it, you're put behind. And so that's what I'm dealing with right now, and it's extremely frustrating. One company, she was like, well, we have, I think in China they had some type of holiday, like golden holiday or something like that, which I didn't know, and then so it was just like, wow, like, so you could have told me before the holiday hit. So I get an email from her saying, oh, on the 29th through the 6th, we're going to be out of the office. Oh, no, I'm sorry, through the 5th, we'll be out of the office to return on the 6th. And so I was extremely frustrated, because it's just like, bro, like, I have rent, I have bills, I have things due, and then another company, they're right here in the US, have yet to be paid from them. I sent them an email explaining like, this is a critical situation. Girl, still ain't heard nothing from them. Ain't heard nothing. Well, no, I'm sorry. She emailed this morning saying she's looking into it, but I emailed her on the 26th. So if I email you on the 26th, today is the 6th. The commitment and the agreement was you would pay approximately a week after the content went live. So why are you not meeting your contractual obligations? And so it's just very frustrating. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, this is one of the reasons why I'm like still looking to go back to work. I have other obligations, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, it just gets really frustrating, and like I was saying, this is why I'm just kind of like, I'm just ready to go back to work. If there was, for me personally, if I had an overwhelming amount of sponsorships and stuff coming in, it wouldn't matter as much, but that's not the case. And so it's just like, I'm still looking. It's taking a little bit longer, but we'll get there. I just need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm gonna get paid for my time, and it's very frustrating. And so it's just, y'all, with this content creating thing, the tables can turn, the tides can change, and that's just where we are. And it's very frustrating, and then it's like, who do you contact? There is no other point of contact with the company that's here in the US. But anyway, I don't want to rant too long, but that's just something that I've been dealing with, just really, really frustrated or whatever. So yeah. Oh, girl. So I am over it.
Driving away while I watch them ride with my dreams away, dreams away, dreams away, dreams away, dreams away. It's been umpteen summers and I'm not in my bed on the back of the bus in a bunk with the band. Going so hard, gotta choose myself. Underpaid and overwhelmed. I might cook clean, but still won't fall. Still working all my life, you know. Only God knows, only God knows, only God knows. 16 carriages driving away while I watch them ride with my fears away to the summer sunset on a holy night on a long back road. All the tears I fight. 16 carriages driving away while I watch them ride with my fears away to the summer sunset.
All right, girls. Okay, so this is how the pasta came out. Y'all, I hope it's not too bright in here. Let me kind of adjust the light a little bit. We're going to make it a little bit sexy in here, girl. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Is that sexy? Is that sexy enough for you? Okay. Is that good? Like, y'all, I be looking so, like, I don't know, like on camera, I look a lot more, you know, cooler tone than I am. When y'all see me in person, baby, I'm a cup of just warm caramel cocoa. So I'm trying to get my complexion as close as possible on camera, girl, because I be over here looking like Michael Jackson, baby. But anyway, so this is the pasta. And so for all of my vegan baddie bombshells, this is the perfect dish for you. I use mushrooms instead of meat. Oh my God, it's so good. So I use like a combination of seasonings, as you guys saw, but I used steak seasoning, onion. Well, I guess they're called dried onion flakes or dehydrated onion flakes. I used a little bit of garlic powder, rosemary, as well as Italian seasoning. And then I used a little bit of lemon pepper and just a few like chives or whatever. And then just a splash of Tony Chachere's. But you guys know that I have a very sensitive palate. When I eat things, like things are really spicy for me. So for me, it was really spicy, but what I did, I added some bone broth. So I slowly added in bone broth, and then towards the very end, I added in some broccoli and cheese. I guess the broccoli and cheese, I added that in, and then I added water to it, and it is perfect. It has just the perfect amount of everything. The only thing this is missing is like some sweet white wine. I would suggest, if you're gonna make something like this, just a little bit of sweet white wine. This is like a very like sexy meal. It is so good. But you know what? Let me stop. Because while I'm over here talking about, you know, I'm sexualizing food, something just got on my nerves so bad. And this is kind of off the back of what I'm talking about. I hate when men's, girl, we gonna talk about the men's, girl. Y'all, I hate when men are extremely lustful, and I hate when men are very, they sexualize everything. Like if you get a call from a guy and he's like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm washing clothes. Oh, I'm washing. So what is it that you're washing? I am at the point and of the belief that them bastards can't read. I feel like a man that sexualizes every single thing. I be feeling like men like that don't know how to read. Like I feel like they read, or the only books that they have are books with pictures in them. Because how are you able to sexualize every single thing? Every single thing. It don't matter. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm about to get my tires changed. You need an oil change with that too. Like, you know, just like, you know how people refer to oil, like oil change, but it's like more in a sexual way. It don't matter what you say or what you do. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm about to cut up some cantaloupe. Like them big cantaloupes on your chest. Not even chest with a T, chest with an S. Like, I just feel like y'all, not the bombshells, because we got the bombshells and we got the bombshells. I'm not talking about anyone who consumes my content. I am talking about men of the world that are extremely lustful for no reason, or every single time a woman walk by, oh, she fine. And the only thing that they deem as fine is a woman with 2 legs. All she have to do is have 2 legs. Oh, she fine. Y'all, I hate men like that. And it's just like, I just feel like the reason why I say they can't read, like, I just feel like they don't have reading or comprehension, any other skill. The only skill they have is the skill of lust and seduction. Everything they say and everything they do is just about conquering a woman, taking a woman down. He want to talk you through it, and you want to take you through it. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. Okay, let me calm down. I'm supposed to be acting sexy and stuff and acting pretty, but I'm just saying, girl, it just annoys the hell out of me. I got triggered, girl. I'm sorry. Look, I got triggered. But it's like anytime I think about that, I just be feeling like the reason why I still, okay, I think let me get my point. Let me get my point out is what I should be saying. I feel like the reason why I say men like that do not know how to read, or they have poor comprehension skills, therefore they sexualize everything, and everything is extremely lustful, because I believe a man that is intelligent, a man that is knowledgeable, is going to have something more to contribute to a conversation other than something that is sexual, salacious, and lustful. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna get off my horse, girl, cause but yeah, girl, y'all let me know how y'all feel. It just be pissing me off. But yeah, so anyway, I just saw a video of this couple, like they have grown adult children, but the couple went out of town to celebrate their anniversary. And when they went out of town, girl, why did their kids go to their home and redo their entire kitchen? And they also redid the countertops, the appliances, because, they had the kitchen with I want to say the maple wood, which is a lighter wood. And then they had like the white appliances. The home was very, very clean, but the kids just updated it. So y'all, they took out all of the maple countertops, replaced it with this beautiful black marble. And then they also took out the appliances and replaced everything with stainless steel. And it was just like so touching. Like, one thing that I've always wanted to do is like surprise my mom with a house or a townhome or a high rise. Like, I've always wanted to do something like really, really nice like that, with a few rooms, in it, so she can decorate. My mom is like the decor extraordinaire. So she has done, in fact, a lot of the things that you guys see around my home, my mom did it. Like, she hung up probably about 90% of the artwork that's in the home. She did all of the curtains, and so she had a big part in helping me decorate. And I would just love the opportunity to like surprise her with something like that. God says the same, of course. But yeah, so it made me think about like, wow, that would be like so awesome. And it was another guy, and he posed a question, and he was like, if you had, I think he said something to the effect of, if you're in a financial position to bless your parents or to pay your parents' bills, for the rest of your life, would you? And I'm like, well, yeah, like that would just, like, why would you, without hesitation? Y'all, it was so sad in them comment sections. Girl, it was a lot of people that's like, well, it depends. I'm like, it depends on what? But I have to understand, like, not everyone has a loving relationship or with their parents. Not everyone wants to give their parents the world. And, we were all raised in different dynamics. I just feel like my mom was a good mom. Well, not was, but my mom is a good mom. She is so kind and like so forgiving and so loving. And so it's not a question, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do whatever it does to make her life easier. Not just my mom, just my family and my friends all around. I'm gonna do anything that I can to make their lives easier or whatever. So yeah, but I just had to tell y'all that, girl, this pasta is so good. We need to get into those pots. And so I know that I showed you guys the pots in maybe a few vlogs ago, but I'll kind of get into more detail because I remember telling y'all, like, first of all, I was extremely excited when I did the unboxing and I talked about the handles on the pots or whatever, but I didn't get into the technology because I ain't gonna lie, girl, I was just too excited. And so the pots are very, very lightweight. Like the Dutch oven is very lightweight. And that's something, I don't know why I was expecting the pots to weigh like 10 pounds a piece, but technology has changed. But you know what? Let me finish eating or whatever and enjoy my pasta. And then when I come back, I'll just give you guys an overall, you know, kind of view. Well, not a view, but I'll just give you guys some more information about these fabulous pots and tell you the reason why you should purchase them. All right, girls, so let me get into my review for these pots. So guys, the pots are aluminum. The name of the color that I got was Midnight, or is Midnight Onyx. The brand is LaBouffe. They are so pretty. They are also stainless steel on the handle. They are dishwasher safe. They do have a reactive aluminum, which is basically a technology in the pots. And so they make it easy to cook foods more evenly. It is lighter than stainless steel. I'm sorry, it is lighter than like a cast iron pots or skillets. So the food does cook 3 times faster. It has even heat distribution. So that means that you won't be using lots of gas or electricity. It does deliver a more efficient cooking experience. These pots are also non-toxic. They have the triple fused TI ceramic coating and they are infused with titanium particles. They are also super resistant to scratches, abrasions, heat, corrosion. And it extends a non-stick performance. It improves the chemical stability and it ensures safer, healthier cooking. They have a very unique design, as you guys can see. Now, I did get the pots that were 7 pieces. There's a saucepan, but of course, I didn't pull that out. I love them because the handle is, y'all look, gold. These are gold. And then, of course, they just have the black coating on them. All right, girls, so yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a full and fair review of the pots after I use them. I mean, I think I might have made like a grilled cheese sandwich or something in them, but it wasn't really like enough data collected, if you will, to really know if, I don't know, to really give a fair and accurate review. So anyway, now that I've made an actual meal, they are 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I leave all of the links in the description box below. Okay, girl, let's get into some things. Okay, while I'm over here talking about the lustful men's, girl, I'm just gonna give my opinion on this. I do not, guys, I don't think it's good for girls to approach guys. So this girl, she's in her young 20s. In fact, I think she's just 20. She walks up to this guy and she says, "I just want to let you know you look so fucking good." And I was just cringed, girl. So anyway, he says he never gives her a compliment. He says, "Put your number in my phone." That was the first thing he said. He said, "Put my number in your phone, how old you is." Okay, so it was at that moment he knew he fucked up. Because how old you is, baby, I would have walked off after that. So she say, "I'm 20, he's 22. Now, we're not going to judge too hard because, she's a young girl. But this is just a lesson, a cautionary tale. And so then she says, "What's your name?" And I guess he said his name. And then he said, "You like my haircut?" Then he says, "What are you doing tonight?" So he already know that she, as the kids say, going. He already know just by her approach or whatever. So not once did he return the compliment. Not once did he didn't even say thank you. Never even said thank you. So just let this be a cautionary tale. I just feel like men will stand there, they will flirt with you or whatever, but I just feel like men will never really take a woman that approaches them, especially like that, seriously. Now, don't get me wrong, girls. You can ruffle your feathers. You know what I'm saying? You can give them that little look. You know what I'm saying? But that's as far as it should go. Baby, once you ruffle your feathers and give them that little look or whatever to let them know that it is okay, it is a safe space to approach. If they not going, as the kids say. Don't even worry about it, sweetheart. You know, I don't know. I just think like this day and age, and maybe it's just the fact that because I live in Houston. In Houston, I don't know what it is about these men. Baby, they be like, remember on The Color Purple when Mr. walked up to Nettie and he was like, I seen you and I'm going he said, I seen you, I want you, and I'm gonna get you. That's how these men are in Houston. So baby, let me tell you this. You don't ever have to worry about a guy approaching you down to these Houston streets, because if they are interested, they are going to approach. What I always be telling y'all, it don't matter where you at, baby, you can be down to the funeral or down to the carnival. The men are going to approach. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just cringe. And then they used to have this trend called dapping up tens, where a girl would just walk up to a guy and give them dap. And y'all, I would just fucking cringe. Oh my God, it is just something that is just so, like, I would just get secondhand embarrassment. Wait a minute. Y'all saw me glitching. I started glitching. That's how embarrassed I am. I would get secondhand embarrassment. I'm like, oh my God. And then the girls that would be doing these trends were pretty girls, you know, and it's just like, you don't have to do anything, ladies. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is show up. I'm telling you, show up, and that's it. And I would say, you know, well, I would say show up with your looking your best. But the bottom line is, girl, it don't matter, baby. You can have on hospital scrubs, a damn rug. You could be wrapped in newspaper, baby. It don't matter. They gon', you know, but it does help if, you know, you're kind of, especially if your whole sole purpose is going out to meet a guy. You know, if your whole thing is like, okay, girls, we're going to get dressed up and we're going to go out on the town, I would say look your best. But, you know, if you really trying to meet somebody, and let me say this, it does help, I'm going to be honest, when you are dressed just a little bit more fly. You know what I mean? Like, not, I'll say like wearing something that's really like sexy and sophisticated, meaning like, you know, if you're gonna have a little cleavage out, girl, get you a cute pair of slacks that's kind of just fitted at the waist and that just kind of skims you a little bit and flows out a little bit, as opposed to, you know, the super short skirt and the super short top or whatever. You know, like, just have a level of balance there. I just feel like you do attract a different caliber of man depending on what you have on. When I went to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, maybe, was that last week? Yeah, last week I went to the grocery store, and y'all, I literally just threw on a pair of jeans. The jeans were, you know, they were fitting or whatever, and then I had on like this white like halter top. And I normally, you know, I try not to dress like that anymore. You know, like if I'm gonna have on the halter top like that, because it was very fitted and it did show a little bit of my cleavage and a little bit of my waistline. I try not to dress like that anymore, because I notice when I do, it does attract a different kind of man. And typically, it is not the kind of man that I like. I don't like no man that be walking around here with all them damn cartoon characters and shit on his shirts. Them old Jersey Shore shirts with all that damn glitter and beads and feathers and shit, and be having them acid wash jeans, them skinny jeans on, look like leg warmers all the way from the waist down to the ankles, with them damn them ugly Jordans, not the Jordans with the third quarter. I don't know, like y'all know I don't know about tennis shoes, but the Jordans that don't come up, like the 3/4 Jordans. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They not the low tops, they not the high tops, they the mid tops. Like, I don't like men that be dressing like that. You know, like, I just don't like a man that just be having on all that damn urban wear. But unfortunately, the way that I was dressed, unfortunately, did attract that, you know what I'm saying, that type, or either it'll attract the really, really young guys. Like when I was getting ready to buy my groceries the little guy in the line, the cashier, he was like, or not, well, I wouldn't say he's a cashier, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Young guy, whatever, girl. He say, how you doing today? I said, I'm fine. You sure lives. Baby, the only thing you can do for me, sir, is one, give me a discount, or two, call your daddy up here. And shit, looking at you, girl, sir, young man, I'll probably be too old for your daddy too, baby. Call your grandpa up here. Girl, y'all, this little boy probably wasn't no more than 20 years old. So if you 20, if your daddy had the aggressive approach that you had, that means your daddy probably ain't nothing but 38. You know what I'm saying? And if your grandpa was anything like your daddy, that means that your damn grandpa probably ain't nothing but about 52. So yeah, girl. And you know, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going on a rampage. Y'all forgive me, girls, y'all. I haven't talked in like, today is Monday, okay? Okay, girls. This is my first time talking since Friday. Y'all know I spend a long amount of time. I be spending a periodically long time not talking. And so, you know what I'm saying? So when I be, you know, coming down here to give y'all 30 things of tea, I be having, you know, I be having a lot to say. But yeah, so anyway, girls, y'all, I'm trying to make the wig look a little bit more full. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, girls, so back to our little dating chit chat. So yeah, that happened, and then I ended up like catching a live today, and it was this lady. She is, I want to say this lady is like in her 60s, but she is, or either her late 50s. She is gorgeous, and she's dating. She's dating, and she was dating this guy. Well, she was dating this guy, and she's a flight attendant, and he wanted her to come see him, and she was like, well, if you want me to come see you, you need to buy me a plane ticket. And so he took, you know, issue with that, because he was like, well, you're a flight attendant, you know, you should, you know, be willing to come see me, and if I buy you a ticket, then that's going to impede on the things that we're going to be, you know, that's going to kind of affect the things that we'll be able to do, because that's going to mess with like our dating budget, because he, unfortunately, he was a part of the you know, the thing that's going on with the government, and so unfortunately he's currently furloughed. And so she was explaining to him like she didn't mind if they just kind of hung out at his house and, you know, chilled or whatever. And so he didn't want to do that. And so she was just saying, talking to all of the girls that have the flight benefits. And she was like, you know, don't be so quick to use your benefits to jump on the plane. Those benefits are for you. They are not for, you know, the person. They're not to be flying out to go see a man, because she was saying like, you got to do all of this standby. And she was saying that it just takes the fun out of it. And she was like, and by the time you get to your destination, you are exhausted. She was like, when they first started dating, yes, she did use her flight benefits, but you know, they've kind of gotten into the whole, you know, I think they have seen each other quite a few times, and so she did fly out to go see him using her flight benefits, but she said she didn't want to make a habit out of that. And so that caused a whole big, you know, conundrum between them. And you know, she was just saying like she enjoys his company, but she does not like his sternness. And so unfortunately that caused a whole thing or whatever, and now I guess they're kind of like not on, you know, like not on speaking terms or whatever. So she said what she had to say, he said what he had to say, and so I guess they're at a fork in the road. And so then of course she said he was being petty, and so he took down all of their pictures off of his social media site. So she took down all of her pictures, the pictures that they had together. But she was just saying like she's the type of girl, she wants closure. And I don't know, y'all, and maybe again we're going back to the Capricorn thing. Now this lady is a Sag. I'm a Cap, she's a Sag. Sagittarius is, you know, they don't mind a little rumble in the jungle, you know what I'm saying? They don't mind getting spicy, extra crispy. But she was just saying like she wants to get the last word, and I'm like, baby, the last word is no word at all. I'm telling you, girls, y'all, letting somebody have the last word, y'all, that's like the new flex. Let them just have it. Let them have the last word. But she was just saying like she wanted to have the last word. And now I didn't jump in the chat and say anything because, you know, I don't be doing that because I don't know if people gonna start feeling too sensitive and spaz out on you, and I don't have time for this shit or whatever. I just sit there and listen. But anyway, I was just thinking to myself, like, it's not even worth it. Like, just leave it alone. Leave it alone, girl. So, I don't know what, you know, what ended up happening with that, because I ended up having to do something else. But y'all, it's not worth it having the last word. I swear it's not. I'm not gonna go too deep into that because y'all already know how I am. But yeah, so I'm putting my braids to the test. I think you guys might be able to tell by now that I have fallen in love with this wig, honey. Now, I ain't gonna lie. When this company, when they first reached out to me, I was not excited. Cause I was like, girl, I'm just gonna put this wig on for the video, and then I'm just gonna take it off and just throw it in my box. Girl, please. I had the only time I've taken this, well, I take it off at night, but the only time I did not wear this wig is when I had that interview with the polyester pimp, girl. When I had the interview with him the other day and the other guy or whatever. Other than that, I have not taken my wig off. I love it. Or I've not stopped wearing it. Let's just say that. I don't want to make this particular segment too long. Look at me talking. Look at me talking about too hard. I'm acting like them lustful men's I was talking about a couple of conversations ago. But anyway, I do have some more tea for y'all, girl. I have another thing of tea for y'all. But I ain't gonna give y'all too much right now. I think I done gave y'all enough for now. But I am about to just kind of sit here and curl my wig because I just want it to be a little bit more full. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna curl it up a little bit. And then when I come back, I'm gonna tell y'all another little funny, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story time or whatever when I come back. So let me do that and I'll give you guys a call back. All right, girls, this is the hair. It's so cute and fluffy. I freaking love it. So this is what it looks like if you curl it. But girl, why didn't I just put some water on the ends and diffuse it? I forgot that this is like a curly body wave texture. So if you get this wig, you do not have to do what I did. You don't have to curl it. If you don't want to, you could just put some water on it and diffuse it. But I'm not gonna lie, I love it with the little curling iron. But anyway, so y'all, in the last vlog, I forgot to tell you girls about this coloring book. So the coloring book is called Beauty Therapy, and I'm gonna pop a picture of the coloring book on the screen, and then I'm gonna leave the link below. So basically, this coloring book was designed and created by London Wallace, and London just happens to be my best friend from college. It's her daughter. And so when she sent it to me last week, I was so impressed, guys. This is so beautiful. This coloring book really is for my creative bombshells, or just for the girlies that like to, you know, use creativity as a form of therapy. And it's basically for the Black girl. It's a coloring book. And so basically, she has it as beauty therapy, coloring book, confidence and style, inspiring face images for Black women and girls. So again, I'm gonna put the link in the description box. I would really appreciate if you guys could click on the link and support. It's only $9. And so yeah, and on Amazon it's saying you can receive your order by October the 11th. Of course, that's, y'all know how Amazon is. October the 11th if you purchase $25 of items total. But anyway, so yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful book, guys. I am a creative. I've noticed that when I'm not creating, it's kind of when I start falling into some of my depression and anxiety or whatever. So I would say that this is the perfect book, as well as the perfect outlet for, you know, just therapy and creativity and all of that good stuff. So I just wanted to Be supportive. We always want to support our sisters, okay? So make sure you guys click the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and now I'm just joking. I'm just joking, but girls, I'm about to tell y'all a cautionary tale, but I need to sit down first. All right, girls, I'm back, obviously. So listen, this is a cautionary tale, and this is a cautionary tale about being mindful of who you think your friends are. Sometimes when you have people around you who feel like they don't deserve better than what they've ever had, they're going to impose those things on you. They're going to project, and they're going to make you lose any good thing that'll come to you, because if they don't think they deserve it, they absolutely positively not gonna think you deserve it. So anyway, this story takes place approximately, I'm gonna say, this was a while ago. This was years and years and years ago, many moons ago, before I had lost weight, before I had weight loss surgery. So anyway, I had met this guy, and he was, you know, he was a decent looking guy, whatever, but this guy was super accomplished, extremely successful. And at the time, for the age that we were at the time, it was just not normal for a man. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't normal for a man to have that much success at his age, let alone a black man. Like, he had achieved so much at this particular age. I'm talking about a successful job. He had a huge, beautiful home, but this guy was just a very, very laid back guy. He came from a great supportive family. Like, he just came from a family that just believed in just spending time together and doing stuff together or whatever. So I had met him one night when we was out. I don't know if the girls from Houston remember Scott Gertner. He and I met when I was at Scott Gertner's bar one night, and I was there with a friend. So anyway, you know, it was like one of those nights where, you know, you and your friend, y'all get separated and you just kind of sitting around looking awkward like the head bombshell does from time to time. And so he started talking to me or whatever. We exchanged numbers. He was from Louisiana, so he went back home and we continued talking and stuff. And so over the course of maybe 6 weeks, maybe a month, we continued to talk on the phone and stuff like that, text or whatever. And I really liked him. He was very, like I said, he was, not only was he successful, he was very intellectually and emotionally mature. Like, you know, he was very supportive. He was very, he had a very high emotional intelligence rate. Like, this guy was just, he was almost the perfect guy, okay? So anyway, after we was talking on the phone and stuff, you know, because he was a busy guy, you know, he had a lot going on. He was like, you know, I want to see you. I'm going to come down to Houston, you know, so we can hang out. And so I was like, okay, you know, and that's when I still was like, I was kind of, you know, in betwixt being, you know, graduating from my thughood into my sophistication. The sophistication hood was still in development, you know what I'm saying? Or not hood, but my sophisticated era was still in progress. It was still loading. And so I was like, okay, or whatever. And so anyway, he came to Houston, and what I liked about him is that he did not assume he was going to stay at my house or anything. He came to Houston, he got a hotel room and stuff like that. And of course, when he made it to Houston, he was just like, you know, where did you want to meet? Y'all, I'm again so hood, just straight from the hood girl, still in my hood girl era. I was like, well, let's meet at Sky Gardner. I want to go to Sky Gardner. We met up there, whatever, girl. And my friend was with me at the time. And because this guy, he was about his business, he was educated, smart, very successful professional guy. He wasn't with all of the latest and the greatest outfits, you know what I'm saying? So he was a simple guy when it came to fashion. So he just had on some Levi's and a brown polo. I will never forget what he had on or whatever. And he was kind of like a bigger guy, but what's the big deal? I was a bigger girl. And so, you know, he had the simple haircut, a low Caesar, nothing too flashy, just a very laid back kind of, you know, he was just undetectable. You know what I'm saying? And so we hung out at the bar, and I'm gonna be honest, I was having like just a really fun time with him. I was really enjoying myself with him. He was just such a laid back guy. He was so nice or whatever. And then, bitch, my friend had seen him or whatever. And so, I was talking to him and, just kind of smiling like I am now and blushing and stuff. I was blushing and stuff or whatever. And so, he had invited me to his family every year. They rent out this huge like amusement park in Alabama. So he had invited me to this thing that his family was going to go to, and that was coming up in like 2 weeks. And he was like, I would love for you to go. I'm going to come to Houston, y'all. He was just a nice guy. He was like, I'm going to come to Houston and I'm going to come and get you, and then we're going to ride to Alabama or whatever, and then where I'm going to take you to like my family's event. So I was like, okay. And so anyway, once my friend seen him, so I introduced her to him or whatever. And so she kind of sized him up or whatever. And then she gave me that look like, And so she was like, chick, come to the bath. That's what she was like, chick, come to the bathroom with me or whatever. So of course I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom with my friend. So we get in the bathroom or whatever, and then she was just like, I just, he doesn't really look like your type. And she just really started saying, just really disparaging things in regards to how he looked, his physical appearance. Mind you, again, like, I felt like, I don't know, I didn't have a problem with how he looked, but y'all, I let this loser ass girl kind of, convince me like he just wasn't up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take into consideration like the kind of guy he was, his success, and all of these great attributes he had to offer. This guy had what we call redeemable qualities. Sometimes in life, you're going to meet people that have redeemable qualities, and these are going to be qualities that are so upper echelon and that are so rare. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to meet someone like that again. And this guy was that. And so anyway, I let this girl, legacy of losers girl, she was a legacy of a loser. I let her convince me that I was too cute and too fly for this dude, which I wasn't. In fact, I was still wearing them goddamn peasant shirts. Yeah, I remember them peasant shirts that you used to go down the rainbow and buy them. Them sleeves used to be long, and if the wind blew hard enough, them sleeves would be whooping your ass. That's what I had on, a peasant shirt. You listen, if you still walking around here wearing peasant shirts, you are in no position to let a loser tell you that you too good for somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, I let her convince me that I was too cute for him, despite the fact that I had a peasant shirt on or whatever. And my best one, by the way, my best peasant shirt from Rainbow. But anyway, girl. So then after she said that, my processor, I'm a left-handed Capricorn, you hear me? So my processor didn't kick in. So of course I went back to sit with him, and he was just waiting there like looking so nice and just such a nice guy, whatever. And so we kept talking and stuff, and I was still really excited about them. But then the next day, my processor started to kick in regards to what she said. And my processor is not fast. And so sometimes, even to this day, it takes me a while to process things, and I'll process it the next day, or maybe sometimes a few days later. So I started thinking about what she said, and then of course that made me start like acting funny, towards him or whatever. And so anyway, he was still in Houston the next day, and he wanted to go out and do something. Of course, I made an excuse up. I had made up an excuse like, well, no, I got something else to do or whatever. And so we never seen each other again once, he went back to his hotel room from leaving Scott Gertner's, and I went back to my house, of course. But again, like I said, we were supposed to have plans the next day. He had made plans. But of course, me thinking that I was too fly, despite the fact that I had on the peasant shirt, I was acting funny and didn't go, with him on the next date. And then he just eventually went home Sunday. But despite the fact that he could tell that my attitude had shifted, he was still calling and stuff like that or whatever. And unfortunately, my dumb ass listened to her, and I just started acting funny, and eventually he got the hint and he kind of backed off. But guys, this guy was so accomplished, and I'm not trying to just lean into the fact that he did well for himself or whatever, but that does play a role. This guy, his home was absolutely gorgeous. He had just bought a beautiful home. Like, that house was so pretty. And then he was like, you know, you just knew that this guy was on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no, you know how sometimes a guy talks to you on the phone and then when he get to the house, all right, I'm at the house, I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. Now, baby, he get to the house, he call you, hearing him type in the keypad to get in the house. He on the phone in the bed. You know, he's still talking, as you know what I'm saying. So this guy was the real deal. Holyfield is what I'm trying to say. This guy was the real deal. And so I just cannot believe to this day that I let someone convince me that I was like too good for someone because he didn't meet the aesthetic, which at the time there was no aesthetic. You know, I was struggling with my weight and fighting for my life in a peasant shirt. You know what I'm saying? But this guy really had a lot. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I let her convince me that I was too good for him, despite the fact that more than likely, you know, he was a well more advanced than I was. But I didn't feel like he was too good for me, and I didn't feel like I was too good for him until I let my friend convince me. And so I often think about this guy. We did follow each other on Facebook, and I would see him. He ended up going even higher in the company. I think at the time he was working at some chemical plant. Then he went, you know, he kept elevating or whatever. And shit, I don't know whatever happened to this guy, but I can assure you that he probably is somebody's CEO, CFO somewhere, probably living in one of those, I don't know, you know, massive mansions or whatever. Because at the time he lived in a gated community. So I can assure you that he only went up, up, and up. You know, we all have, you know, go, you know, through things in life, have trials and tribulations, but he definitely, you know, continued to elevate. And I'm sure he got married, had a beautiful wife and beautiful kids, and is living a great life. But it's just a cautionary tale of just, you know, first of all, when you meet people, you don't have to introduce who you meet to your friends. You know what I'm saying? And then even if you do, you don't have to allow your friends to convince you that you are too good for somebody, because a lot of times that's projection. A lot of times they can look at someone or listen to the things that you say about this person, and they know that this person is going to give you a great life, which is probably what she thought. But I think about this guy, you know, from every now and again, and just wonder whatever happened to him. And he just had everything that a girl could want, as far as just his character. He was just, to me, he was a man of valor, a man of integrity, educated, great family, success, wealth, but he just did not come in the package, if you will, that I think people would have wanted him to come in. You know what I'm saying? Which, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have a problem with what he looked like. I didn't. He was just, you know, regular, everyday guy. He was not an unattractive guy by any stretch of the imagination. He was just not a flashy guy with all of the things, the trimmings. But he didn't need to wear his wealth into his success, because his fruits were, you know, the things that he accomplished behind the scenes. And so anyway, it's just, I just learned a lot from that. And y'all know what? To this day, literally to this day, I have never, ever met a guy like him again. I've met some great guys, but I've never met a guy like him again. But what's so sad is, like, y'all, all of the good guys I have ever met was when I was on my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When I just was just, and now that I'm no longer about that, I'm just a good girl, you know, your quintessential girl next door. I can't say that I don't meet good guys. It's just that I'm not trying to meet anyone right now. You know what I'm saying? But I can say when I was dating, I didn't meet men of that caliber. Like, he was one of the highest caliber of guys that I've met. I have not met anyone of his caliber, success, education, emotional intelligence, any of that. He probably is the cream of the crop, and whoever ended up getting him got a good ass man. Look, I'm gonna say this, his name is Derek, okay? Look, it bombshells. If anybody out there got a good ass husband from Alabama and his name is Derek and he's in our age group, I'm gonna say mid 40s to early 50s, If you married a guy named Derek from Alabama and he lived in Louisiana and he's highly successful, you probably married the man. That's probably the guy. Look, put it in the comment section because more than likely that's probably the guy that I'm talking about. So sis, congratulations because you got you a good one. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that story because I had thought about it the other day, and just like the closest that I've ever come to meeting a guy like that were guys that I worked with that were married, that were very, you know, held their marriages to a high standard, that were really respectful of their marriages. But I've never met anyone, let me just try to put it this way. Anybody that I've met that was like him was already married and they did not play no games with their marriages. It's a lot of men out here. I know the girls be saying the men's be down to the thing cheating, baby. It's a lot of men out here who do not play no fucking games with their wife, their girlfriend, fiance, marriage, whatever. It's men out here that don't play games. They don't cheat. There are men that exist like that, guys. I have worked with a lot of men who do not play with their marriages at all. So anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to tell y'all that don't be out here listening to a legacy of lousy losers, the triple L's. Don't be listening to the triple L's, girl, because the triple L's will have you wondering 1,000 years later whatever happened to such and such. But I'm not gonna carry on too long, guys. I'm hoping I can get the vlogs back on track or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I can't make no guarantees as far as what's gonna be happening. I wouldn't call these vlogs. I would just say life lately. I don't know what's going to be happening in the life lately segments or whatever, but I'll try to be a little bit more consistent. But anyway, girls, let me go ahead and end this right now so I can start editing. But yeah, girls, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I don't want it, I don't want it. If there's a remedy.